Good, whatever time of day it is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome into twitch.tv/ice cream. My name is Graham Day. I'm joined by the man that we call Bib, and this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We are live on twitch.tv/ice cream, bringing you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. So strap yourselves in, get yourselves comfy, maybe get yourself a little bit of eggnog or whatever you drink when it's Christmassy in your part of the world, because we've got a few stories to run through you. Run through you? No, that's not how it works. What did it? So if anyone's just been in the pre-show, we may have had the Christmas do yesterday, which you think, oh, tender boys. But no, we had zero alcohol. We were home early. Yeah. See, there we go again. But both of us have this sort of like crippling mouth thing going on where we can't communicate effectively, which is great it's for a verbal podcast. Fuck! Anyway, yes, nice. So we are here to bring you not only the biggest stories in the world of video games, but our thoughts and our impressions on those stories. But we also want to hear your thoughts and your impressions, and it's probably important that you do that, because usually it's because people watch this on demand and so on, and they can't get involved. But if you give us your thoughts and impressions, then we aren't talking, because we're having problems with that today. So please do feel free to get involved in the chat on twitch.tv/ice cream. But as I just hinted at, then that content will be turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and audio podcasts on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and Amazon Music. I only know because I've just looked at the script then, because I completely forgot what it is. It used to be iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play, and that's baked into my brain, so I can't get rid of that. But anyway, if you are watching and listening on demand, please feel free to fast forward through this. We will not say any bad things. Press fast forward now. Okay, if you fast forwarded, you smell. You don't even know I said this because you fast forwarded. Anyway, before we jump into the news, though, just a few talking points. We actually have some Discord discount codes for Logitech G. Were they dropped in the ICU email inbox, or was that my inbox?
Yes, it was. I flagged them this morning.
Nice. So if anyone is buying anything from Logitech G over, I think it's till the end of January, let us know. We've got some discount codes. It's like 20 or 30 quid off. So if anybody is buying, is it euros?
It is euros, yeah.
So if anybody's buying anything, let me know, because we have a couple of codes that we can share. We have to share them before Christmas Day, though. So if you're buying anything, let me know, and we'll give you a code. No commitment to it, whatever. We've got some codes to do giveaways, to run a giveaway, but we've got extra, so we can just give someone some codes if they want it. If you want something, let us know. Nice. As well as that, don't forget the loot drop this Crimbus time will actually be on the day we get back as well, the 6th of January. So if you are a sub and you think, I'm going to throw it on a sub, it's Christmas, nice, you will be included in the loot drop. That is where subscribers, or one subscriber, gets prizes on twitch.tv/ice cream baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
I keep trying to check out U2 Cuties, but it tells me you're out of stock. Hey.
Check you out, baby.
Real question, do I have to be UK to use the discount code? Ooh, good question. We can look into that.
Yeah. I would have said probably yes, but the fact that it's in euros means that you're probably anywhere in Europe. I assume with your time zone that you're nowhere near Europe, so I don't know.
Does it say anything in the email about it being a UKU or whatever only code? I don't know.
No, it doesn't. But again, the only thing that's throwing me is the fact that it's in euros. So it doesn't say, there's no T's and C's on it to say where you can and where you can't use it. So you could use it theoretically. You could try it, but I imagine it might not work unless you're on one of the European websites.
Yeah. So
then you'll have to spend a fortune in shipping.
I don't know how it works as well, because technically it's a voucher code rather than discount code. It's like a 20 or 30 euro voucher. And I don't know if you can then still stack that with code ice cream to get extra discount as well, which would be amazing. So you'd have to try that. We've never had this before. We've never been given these codes to give away before. This is a new thing for us, so we don't know all of the ins and outs on it yet. I don't want to be like, may I have a code, burn the code, and not be able to use it. If there's anything you're after, and you think you could actually use the code, then we're happy enough to try that. So just let us know. Let us know.
Yeah, I mean, there could be an option there if you want to buy it. We could. Yeah, I mean, suppose you could send us the money. We could buy it, and then you just have to pay the shipping fee. I think that might end up being cheaper if it's something that you genuinely want.
Yeah, we'll see. Although it will come with a different plug and stuff then. So then there's all the stuff that comes with that as well.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that in the Discord. We'll jump into the Discord for that one. For now, though, we will jump into some video game news because, as we said, this is the #1 video game podcast for not just the UK, but the whole world. Ish. Please feel free to get yourselves comfortable as we jump into a bunch of stories today. A quick overview if you want to know whether you want to stick around for it or not.
Spoilers, you do. You always do.
First up, we will be talking about the games industry will only have room for one non-Nintendo console next gen, it's claimed. And that is because Xbox's consoles are always crap. Oh, no, it doesn't actually say that there. I just misread that. So, no, that's not what it says. But we'll jump into the article if you want to know what it does actually say in a second. We'll then talk about Xbox reportedly developing a cross-platform user interface. Silent Hill 2's bagged some awards at a Horror Games award show. Fortnite crossovers with Cyberpunk. And what game you can pick up for free right now on the Epic Games Store. But first up, as mentioned, okay, Mr. Bibb.
Yes.
You got a Nintendo Switch.
I most certainly have.
You get the next Nintendo Switch. We'll call it Switch 2, whatever it's going to be called.
Yes.
Are you going to pick up an Xbox and a PlayStation? Because you've got both right now. Are you thinking you're going to do the same again next gen?
For the argument of this, yes.
No, you ain't, motherfucker! Okay, actually, I've jumped to the wrong screen. I was too excited. Let's go back over here. They might not even have the news article ready. Oh, it's there. Nice. So the games industry will only have room for one non-Nintendo console next gen, it's claimed. Either Sony or Microsoft will struggle mightily with their next console, research firm predicts. This is Andy Robinson at VGC with the scoop, and it says the games industry will only be able to support 2 successful games consoles in the next generation of hardware, a new report claims, and one of those will clearly be Nintendo. Market research firm DFC Intelligence released its annual market report and forecast this week, in which it projects major revenue growth for the second half of the decade, while predicting significant risk for one of the 3 established console manufacturers. DFC predicts that thanks to the new hardware from Nintendo and major releases such as GTA 6, the games industry will enjoy record growth in 2025 following a period of decline following the COVID pandemic. Nice use of following twice in the same sentence there, guys. I well thought I ballsed up. Anyway, the firm predicts that the number of people worldwide who play video games will exceed 4 billion by 2027, nearly half the global population. It projects that Nintendo will be, quote, the clear winner, end quote, in the next generation of consoles, due largely to a combination of earlier availability and limited competition. However, DFC projects that only one of Sony and Microsoft will be able to successfully compete with Nintendo when their new consoles launch by 2028. Gonna have a drink here, boys. You get so comfortable.
Oh, I'm so comfortable.
Quote, there isn't room for more than 2 major console systems, it says. Sony or Microsoft will struggle mightily in a distant third place, largely depending on which of those companies can gain early momentum. DFC... Let's get rid of this advert, get out of here. DFC believes it's too early to know which of Xbox and PlayStation will drop off next gen, stating that price points, launch dates, and other basic features such as portability will factor. Quote, a new Sony system, brackets, PlayStation 6, question mark, end brackets, should have an advantage because of loyal base and strong Sony IP, it says, while noting that Microsoft will go into its next console as the largest gaming publisher. Microsoft failed with the Xbox Series X and S, but has made major acquisitions to become the world's largest software publisher. Microsoft has the option of focusing on software and distribution models over hardware. End quote. DFC Intelligence founder and CEO David Cole said in a statement, quote, "Over the past 3 decades, the video game industry has grown more than 20 times, and after 2 years of slumping hardware and software sales, it's poised to resume growing at a healthy rate through the end of the decade. While 2025 will mark the beginning of that upward trajectory, some huge questions remain, including who will lose the next-gen console war and who will win the game software distribution battle. And with the large publishers focused on live services around evergreen franchises, opportunities for smaller studios will be plentiful." That bit's particularly exciting. Nintendo has yet to officially release it. Okay, we don't need the Andy stuff. Nice. Thank you to Andy Robinson at BGC for confirming that the Xbox Series X and S genuinely are sacks of shite when compared to the PS5. It said it there in the article. We all saw it. Yeah, nice. Okay, so back to the split screen. Joking. Yeah, okay. The games industry will only have room for one non-Nintendo console. So we know the Switch 2 is going to be here. It's going to be here next year. It's going to be a major success. But the Xbox, whatever, X and S comes after that, and the PS6 will have to fight it out with only one truly surviving. Thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
I mean, I don't believe that. I don't believe that that is going to be the case. But for a financial forecast, I could probably see that might be true. There might be some super detailed, forensic kind of deep dive into how many consoles are being sold, how many subscription services there are to like Xbox Game Pass versus what's going over on at PlayStation. I don't believe that these two consoles will just disappear overnight. I believe that there may be, like, Xbox may be working to try and cover the software space, but there is no way on God's green earth that they're going to remove consoles altogether. The way that you end up playing the console might be completely different. It might genuinely just become a streaming console with some form of HDMI box or something rather than it, because that's essentially what the the Xbox Series S is, right? It's digital downloads. You're probably not streaming your games, you're just downloading them with the storage space. There isn't that much to it. You have to buy hard drives and things like that. So I feel like the way that we're going to play games in the next 10 years is going to be completely different to how we're going to be playing them now. But I imagine people 25, 30 years ago would have said the same thing then. Evolution and the way that technology changes it's just ramped up over the last 10 years with what's available to us, whether or not it's taxis now that don't even have a driver and they just can pick you up like an Uber and then take you to wherever you need to go to. That is probably something that people would have said 40 years ago would never end up happening, or you would have had scientists talking about hoverboards and shit like in Back to the Future. We haven't really got that. But the way that technology moves, you genuinely never know. But I don't believe there's ever going to be a world in the next 10 years at least that we don't have a competition between Xbox and PlayStation. I always feel like as much as Nintendo is an absolute powerhouse, it's not usually people's primary consoles. And I mean that in terms of I don't even want to say it because it'll end up pissing people off, but genuinely I feel like Nintendo Switches are people's secondary thing. So the people that
Alternative.
Yeah, so like people go when they're like in my office here, I have a PlayStation. My Xbox is actually downstairs plugged into the big TV in the front room, as is my Nintendo Switch, actually. But this is my PlayStation and my PC are my primary things to play. And then if I'm sat on the sofa downstairs, I might pick up my Nintendo Switch, or if I get my little monitor thing out, I can play my Nintendo, my Xbox as well. I just don't think I know enough people personally in my friendship circle or extended circle on social media where I have friends who obviously play games or work in the video game space that have their Nintendo Switch as their primary console. Yeah. They will play their Nintendo Switch when a brand new Zelda game comes out, when a brand new Mario game comes out, or a brand new Pokemon game. Apart from that, they don't really play it all that often. That's super generalizing. I understand that because the Nintendo Switch hasn't sold as much as it has for it not to be people's primary consoles. But I just, in my circle, that's all I can talk about. That's all I can go off of the feedback that I get from that. It's not people's direct number one console when they come home from work, unless it's a game that they are playing specifically because it's just come out. I
mean, I agree with that in terms of there are definitely, and we're not saying they aren't, there are definitely communities that exist that are
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch gamers, as there is with everything. There's always someone that will
Because people are prime
go out
mobile
to bat
gamers,
for
do you
it.
know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Massive mobile audiences. But I do agree, from my perspective, I have a Switch. I have owned a Switch for years, since 2018, 2019, and I genuinely don't know where it is. I know it's in the house and it is safe, but I don't actually know right now. It's probably in one of a few places. It's one of those, like, is it in that top drawer? Or is it in that cupboard? Or is it in the bed? I found it. There it is. It was in that one. Yeah. Like, it could be in the first place I go to, but I don't know exactly where it is right now. I don't know if it's fully charged. I don't know if it's up to date. I don't know when it was last turned on, but I own one. And that's the thing for me, from my perspective, that is why Nintendo Switch sells so much, because everyone can have one and not use it. So in terms of number of consoles sold, yep, fine. In terms of accessibility to content on the go, yeah, that's fine. In terms of cost for the content, I'm not asked about Nintendo Switch tax. I don't want to pay a bajillion quid for Nintendo's first-party games, or for low-budget versions of ported games over to it kind of thing, because I am a snob when it comes to my games. I am a modern gamer. Very few times will you ever see me go back and play an old game. Bibby does that. Bibby loves that. Nothing wrong with that. But for me, I'm very much a person that, unless I've played it back then and have that nostalgia, very rarely will I go back to a previous generation or before, because we're here and now. I want 4K. I want all the bells and whistles and stuff. So Switch isn't as good as what I can get on my PC. Isn't as good I can get as good as what I can get on my Xbox or my PlayStation. So I don't tend to touch it, which is why I have a Steam Deck now. So that is what I want from my Switch. So there's definitely a market for it, and there's definitely a market for a handheld portable experience. Clearly, I'm still invested in that because I have a Steam Deck, and there's definitely signs that there's a huge opportunity for that there. But as I mentioned in this article, there is not really anyone else competing with the Switch just yet. But I do feel like that's kind of taking it for granted a little bit, in terms of nobody's competing with the Switch just yet. But the Steam Deck OLED just won the hardware of the year at the Game Awards, and it's clearly not tectonic in the number of people that have bought one. But if you look into the research for handheld console uptake, the Steam Deck has actually been selling units, and so has the PS Portal, which everyone thought was shite the fact that you can now use it as a cloud player device. So I don't necessarily think it's safe to say that the Nintendo Switch sequel won't have any competition, because we've got the ROG Ally, we've got the Legion Go, we've got, and I think Nvidia have got one as well as the Logitech G Cloud, as well as the Steam Deck, as well as the PS Portal. PlayStation have already been rumoured. I don't think it was confirmed, or maybe they did say that they're working on the next hardware. Phil Spencer has already said that Microsoft are working on the next hardware. Oh no, they both did. They both said they're working on hardware, but they will both be years away. So if they've got new hardware that's handheld coming out around the 2028 sort of time, then yeah, Nintendo Switch has a couple of years without people competing against it heavily. But I feel like so much can happen there. Even between that, we could get the Steam Deck 2 OLED or something that is just fucking an absolute beast. Steam Deck 1 is fucking amazing as well. But saying Nintendo doesn't have any competition, I do feel like this is one of those. It sounds like it's a really good argument that they're coming up with, but then when you start to unpick it, as where was Mark's comment? Dismiss. Hi, Mark. How you doing, by the way? Caught a scoop. Yay! Sci-fi to sci-facts. Still feel cheated about hoverboard. Same. There we go. It's hard to tell. It was Sega versus Nintendo then. Now neither of them are top tier. Who knows what's next? Exactly. Assuming that Nintendo will go ahead unchecked, I don't think that's a safe bet, because everyone would have thought that from the Wii. And the sequel to the Wii U did not go down very well. I know they tried to change the offering from one to the other with having the handheld tablet sort of set up and so on. Just didn't resonate. But Nintendo makes some strange ass business decisions. So unless they just come out with this, we've seen a bunch of stuff leaked already for what it could be. The same again, if they try to do anything to rock the boat, they could fuck themselves over. Or they do what another leading Japanese video game console manufacturer has done, PlayStation this generation. They get complacent as fuck and go, do you know what? Yeah, actually, our console that cost 300 quid last time is now 450 quid. The games that cost 60 quid are now 75 quid. They don't go down in price, and we don't do any form of discount. Also, your membership to play online has gone up and increased in price. Then all it takes is that, and then everyone goes, do you know what? Actually, I might buy a Steam Deck. It looks pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, market share. So I don't think Nintendo's an absolute safe bet. I feel like it's a logical one. I don't think it's an absolute safe one, but I also don't think that we will lose PlayStation or Xbox just yet, because PlayStation has a massively dedicated fan base that is committed to the hardware, as we've seen just recently with the 30th anniversary content all selling instantly. And Xbox has a massively dedicated 6 people playing their games as well. So, banter. It's more than 6, it's 7.5. No, I'm joking. No, Xbox has not only a dedicated fan base, but it has, as it mentioned in the article, the biggest portfolio of video games to call on out of any publisher in the world. It owns so many studios that eventually, and analysts have been trying to prove it, trying to call it for the last 3 generations. Eventually, we'll get to the point where we don't have a box in our living rooms as a console. We'll play through the cloud or through a stick or a dongle or whatever. Eventually, we will get to that point. It's not this generation. Might not be the next generation. Might even not be the one after that. But if it is next generation, Xbox are ahead by a long, long way already. They own all of the games, all of the IP, and have the infrastructure in place to be able to deliver that. That's way more advanced than what PlayStation has. So for PlayStation, they are definitely bringing you a handheld, a home-based console, and probably a handheld console, because those consoles are what they need to deliver you that experience. Microsoft doesn't need that. So which one's not going to be there? I don't know. I think they both will. Honestly, I agree with Bib. I feel like they both will be there. They will probably diversify a little bit more, but they will offer their own separate strengths. It's just a matter of how the market reacts to that. Xbox had the future for the previous generation and fucked it up because they delivered it badly. PlayStation had the games, but not the future. So people just wanted a good time right now. Xbox are now still in charge of the future, but they've not been able to deliver that previously. So sometimes selling people the future isn't as effective as selling people the here and now. And if PlayStation can carry on doing that as they did with the PS4, then jobs are good. And if they carry on how they have with the PS5, then you're for the payers and not the players. So that way, maybe people do want this. I'm paying for the stuff now. Maybe I do want the future. So could go either way. Let me go back a little. Oh. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Xbox consoles cease to exist, says Crabber. They're shit compared to PlayStation and don't sell as well. I mean, I don't think the shit. I mean, isn't technically the Xbox Series X better hardware-wise? Like, in terms of what it can clock as, like, top speeds and stuff, I think technically it's better. But that was the same thing on the last generation, and that generation they lost. So it's about proposition.
It's only as good as the games, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The console is only as good as the games. If they don't have, and I'm not even just talking about first party support, because there might be games that just have some form of small exclusive. I've just for PC or whatever. It is what it is. How many games have come out on PC and then ended up being made onto console like 2 or 3 years later? Like Rust, I think, was a really good example of that. Like, it didn't come out on console for years, and it just had a primary PC fan base, and then eventually it comes over, and people, don't really take up on it on console. It's still primarily a PC game. A console is only as good as the games that are being made for it, and unfortunately the games that are being made for the Xbox side at this moment in time haven't been great, which is why they've had to invest in other studios to then become first party studios to then create the games. Like, who would have thought that Call of Duty would have been on Game Pass day one? Like, That would have been.
Bethesda
Genuinely,
games.
5 years ago, I thought that would have been like some form of service suicide.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Throwing your
unbelievable.
madness. The thing is, though, it's actually led to more sales, hasn't it, though, like on PlayStation and so on. So,
yeah.
But that does make you think then. So Xbox consoles aren't selling as well. Xbox's business proposition doesn't look as good. But Xbox's supplies and Xbox's potential for the future is it's not untapped. They are definitely not so resourced that they can't fail. They definitely can fail. But they've got so many resources that it would be either I want to say catastrophic if they fail. Like, they're not in a position where failing is unlikely either. This is the games industry. You can fail very, very easily with an absolute dead cert guilt-edged winner. You could fail. Ham, thank you for the raid. Appreciate that. Thank you. If anyone's dropping in, we are just talking about an article from VGC says that the games industry will only have room for one console that is not a Nintendo console next gen. So the next Nintendo console is going to be a massive success, is what the analysts are predicting, but there's not enough room for PlayStation and an Xbox to have their own success. So it's likely that if they both stick with the console market, one of them will drop off significantly. So we're kind of trying to weigh that up where it is. Naturally, on paper, PlayStation is the more attractive prospect. It sells 2-to-1 hardware. It has higher software sales as well because of that, and Xbox doesn't have software sales as much because of things like Game Pass and so on. But Xbox has all of the studios, so it has more software. It has delivery digitally through things like Game Pass, which is better than PlayStation's PS Plus Essential Quadruple Special Deluxe fucking garbage tiering system. So Xbox has the potential for a mega future. PlayStation has the potential for now to build out for the future. And it's just seeing where that goes off the back of that. I think Xbox could do absolute bits. We've got Starfield, which is a strong IP that could be built into something monumental. We've got Call of Duty every year, propping it up as a strong source of over and over again repetitive income. We have Skyrims and things coming through Bethesda as well, and that's only really touching on Activision and Bethesda. Microsoft then owns 76 bajillion other studios in there as well as the Azure network. So
I did read something as well that there might Xbox have something like 34 billion set aside for. I think this is total bullshit. 34 billion set aside for more acquisitions, and they was looking at potentially bringing Avalanche, the Warner Brothers studio, which then ends up meaning they end up taking things like Rocksteady and things like that, which then means that they get the whole Batman
Arkham series.
Yeah, I was going to say archives, but yeah, the Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, all of that kind of stuff. They get essentially all of that comes with it. It's
interesting though, because like, how much does that open the doors? Because I don't. This is where I don't know. Like, and I don't think anyone knows really, unless they do. Like, where the intricacies of those licenses come. Because you own Warner. Do you then get exclusive access to that back catalogue of Arkham games and Batman and so on, because they're DC? Yeah. Is that something that Warner does in? Are they licensing it from DC? Do they work exclusively? I don't know. I don't know if there is like a we only put games out through WB Games. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Does
Avalanche
WB
did Harry Potter Hogwarts, didn't they?
Yeah.
And there's another one of those in production as well. So will they just get exclusivity over that kind of thing as well?
Which is, you can't imagine that you can't see that they would take it exclusively though, because they're already bringing Indiana Jones out on PlayStation in 2025. So will they carry on with that timed exclusive thing? Anyway, that's a good point for us to stop here, because we could spend hours on this.
Genuinely hours.
Yeah, I will jump into this next article though, because it doesn't go too far away. So even though we're stopping, we're not really stopping. We're just moving the discussion. This time it's Tom Ivan at VGC that says Xbox is reportedly developing a cross-platform user interface. Microsoft is said to be working on cross-platform platform Xbox features inspired by Battle.net. So Microsoft, just in case you didn't get that from the title and the subtitle, the first line of the paragraph, the article says Microsoft is reportedly working on a new cross-platform user interface. Who knew? Oh, what a chance! So yeah, that's according to a Windows Central report, which also claims that exclusive Xbox console games will be the exception rather than the rule going forward. Quote, sources tell us that Microsoft is working on a set of in-game APIs and user interface features called Project Rainway, which is some form of cross-platform Xbox guide menu, the report claims. Microsoft has been inspired by the in-game Battle.net social features seen in Hearthstone, Diablo 4, and World of Warcraft, which lets you share and communicate cross-platform. This means that for games running on other platforms from Xbox, they will still have an Xbox flavor and in-game Xbox systems, maybe even cloud saves, end quote. Last week, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella reiterated that the company's gaming strategy going forward is centered on allowing players to enjoy Xbox on all devices. A recently launched marketing campaign is also designed to highlight the numerous ways Xbox games can be played. The new slogan, "This is an Xbox," consists of a humorous series of statements pointing out things that aren't an Xbox, such as bento boxes and bus stops, as well as devices that can play games. These include mobile phones, laptops, Amazon Fire TV sticks, and the ROG Ally handheld. Bosh. So Xbox, jumping back to where we've just been then, is this their future? Are they aware of what the analysts are suggesting, that there isn't enough space in the market for a Switch console or a Nintendo console and a PlayStation console and an Xbox console to be massively successful? So Xbox developing a cross-platform user interface to allow people to effectively use Xbox software and Xbox games cross-platform, but on other platforms. Log in on your PlayStation, log into your Xbox account, like you would if you log into your EA account on PlayStation. Set up matchmaking, like you would on PlayStation. If you're playing FIFA, FC25, I can invite Bibby into a game through my EA overlay. And then obviously it runs through the PS network. Do we see Xbox starting to do stuff like that? Meaning that, if you're on Xbox, you'll use the Xbox system. If you're on PlayStation, you use the Xbox system over the top of PlayStation. Is this Xbox going, we think we can't compete when it comes to just hardware? We've not really been focusing on that for the last 3 to 4 years. This is us putting in the groundwork to make sure that other people can deliver our services. What are your thoughts, Bib?
Yeah, I think you might be onto something there. I don't know if it'll be a bit naive of me to think that they're doing this so that people don't end up trading their Xboxes in to be able to play and speak to their mates over PSN instead, and they're just opening up to go, actually, we might be able to keep them over here and then keep them long term, rather than them thinking, okay, if they're trading the Xbox now, then when the new Xbox comes out alongside the PlayStation 6, they might think, actually, I'm not going to get an Xbox at all. I'm already in that ecosystem now with PlayStation. I'm going to stick with the PlayStation. That's essentially where I found myself during the 360 era. The Xbox 3, the real ones will have gone PS1, PS2, Xbox 360, PS4, and then from there, you can most people either went to PC gaming or they carried on with the PlayStation stuff because they lost the wrong generation. They lost the ecosystem, the place where everything started to go digital, the place where Microsoft and PlayStation were giving you games monthly to then build up your catalog. Like, you was never going to jump. No one's going to jump ship now unless something goes categorically wrong, like your account gets banned. And you basically having to start again anyway. That's the only time really now you're looking to go across to a different brand, unless you've just got an excess of money and you think, do you know what, I'll buy one because there's a couple of games over there that I want to end up playing. Like, that's the fact that everything's now going cross-platform, I think is just bridging the gap against everything. So if you have your preferred destination with your ecosystem and where your friends are already at, it doesn't really matter if they move away now, because pretty much every massive AAA game has some form of cross-platform features, whether or not it be voice, whether or not you're playing against or with each other and things like that. that's just where we are now. But I feel like they're just trying to open every single avenue to try and keep you within that space. Now, again, you're probably not moving unless something goes categorically wrong. But yeah, I think they're just trying to look after every single avenue at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jumping back to catch up then, there's a hardcore Mario Kart league, says Mark Beta One. I don't know that was in relation to, but thanks, mate. Oh, we're talking about the future and stuff. Tito says serious gamers are PC and PlayStation, casual Xbox, Switch? Question mark. He's not saying that. He's posing it as a question. I don't necessarily agree with that. I see what you're getting at. I'd say Switch or Nintendo players are definitely your more casual, but you do get your serious players there as well. Naturally, as you're doing everything, your Smash Brothers pros would be very serious. But you also get serious players on Xbox as well. So I see what you're saying. Maybe that's the markets that they kind of go after, but I feel like that's kind of out the frying pan into the fire. If they're not going to try and compete with the serious console gamers and then go for the casual market, you're going from competing against PlayStation as a console maker to Nintendo as a console maker. You're fighting one or the other. It's the same sort of thing. Two different arguments that they probably don't want to take. JMK says, I still want the competition between Xbox and PlayStation. One supplier wouldn't be good. Facts, yes. The last few Nintendo gens have basically been Mario Kart machines. There's also the Lenovo Legion handheld Steam Deck-like console, says David. I did actually mention the Legion Go, but yeah, welcome into the conversation. Thanks, mate.
I don't believe that the Mario Kart machines, I know they've obviously got the Mario Kart that's been across absolutely everything, but I think the Nintendo Switch is far from just a Mario Kart machine.
I agree. I would happily allow someone to say that because I don't play, and I do see the significance of how successful Mario Kart 8 has been. But we've said it on numerous Switches before. There's a very large sell-through that often gets ignored with Mario Kart 8. You buy a Nintendo Switch, we'll give you a copy of Mario Kart. And the fact that they've sold like 150 million Switches, that's like 150 million copies of Mario Kart that people have been given for free, kind of thing. I bought my Switch and it came with Mario Kart, and I was happy to have Mario Kart, and I've played it quite a bit compared to other Switch games as well. But I did not buy it to get Mario Kart. It came with it, so it wasn't a considered purchase for me. So the stats are duked in favour of that. So I agree with what you're saying in that sense, but there has been so many massive games. What was the one that Gary Whitta did a talk show based in? Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah. So Animal Crossing, genuine tectonic shift level of impact on the industry. Let alone your Zelda games as well.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Not to mention, there's been like 6 or 7 different Pokemon games that have completely different art styles. The way that you end up playing the game, you have Let's Go Pikachu was more like a Pokemon Go / original style Pokemon game.
It was okay. It was more like a Pokemon Go, but it was just a bit.
I've gone back to playing it. That's what I've been playing downstairs in the front room.
The crap thing for it though is, you pretty much, and like the beauty of Pokemon is you're walking through a grassy, like fucking the Viridian Forest or something like that, and oh my god, a fucking Charizard out of nowhere. I'll fucking get that bad boy. Whereas that doesn't really happen on Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. You have to build up catch streaks, so you catch a fucking Caterpie, and you catch a Caterpie, and you catch you're on 3 Caterpies, so the next Pokemon is more likely to be a stronger or a higher level or a rare or a shiny, and then you catch 10 Caterpies, and the next one that pops up is like a shiny fucking whatever mid-level Pokemon. You're like, okay, well I can either fight and catch that now, but then that resets my Caterpie streak, or I can run away from that and hope I get an even better one. And it's like, oh, I need this. I'll add this to my decks, but it's not what I was looking for. It means you've then got to catch it and then go back and catch 15 more Caterpies. Fuck off. And when I realised that's what it was, I stopped playing it instantly. I was like, nah, that is not for me. Unless they've changed something around how that mechanic works, nah.
Yeah. I'm just getting gym badges.
Oh, yeah. See, that's not too bad. Once you've already got some Pokemon that you can run around with and battle with. But I was always a slow player. One of my things was like I would spend ages in Viridian Forest trying to find that Pikachu that was there early on, just as you've left Pallet Town, and then I would go in and fight the fuck out of something as close as I can get to the Pokemon Center, get all my Pokemon leveled up, then keep going back. Whereas people would be like fucking over at fucking, I don't know, whatever town it is that's towns on. I'm still there in the Viridian Forest, going backwards and forwards, just trying to level my Pokemon up. So doing that, but having that slowed down by the need of these streaks was just pain. Anyway, that's my stuff. Crabbit says they blew it. They did blow it. They had the world, did Microsoft, and it was just a proposition. That E3 conference from 2012, 13, whenever it was, 2011. Might not be that far, but anyway, you know which one I'm on about. The TV conference just ruined it. That was execs not listening to their product knowledge experts. And it was like, nah, we've got this. We're going to move into TV. TV ruined it. I'm surprised you didn't go with the Highlander or Mad Max quotes for the last discussing there can be only one or two consoles enter, one console leave. I mean, I see what you're saying, but if someone that's never been in the stream or watched the video before just sees there can be only one as they're discussing now, they don't know what we're talking about. So, no. Also, exclamation mark, 2 men.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
That's already been done for many, many years, David. So get out of here. Crabber, dude. Oh, no, it's gone. No, it's gone. If my Xbox gave me a bento box every time I powered it on, I'd stuff my box every time. Gad, how you doing, mate? Welcome in. Mark Bater one says Microsoft have kind of showing that operating with Minecraft cross-play across all platforms. Microsoft accounts on Xbox, PS, Switch. Yeah, that's the thing, though. They didn't at first. They effectively neglected the PlayStation version of Microsoft. Microsoft? Nope. What's it called? Minecraft. There we go. It wasn't even Microsoft I was trying to say. It was Minecraft. That's why I got Minecraft as opposed to Minecraft. God damn. Yeah, they neglected it and then realized, oh, fuck. And you could see the moment that they span round and went, yeah, we're doing this wrong. And it definitely has worked well for them in terms of uniting the user base. But that's the thing, though, as well. Like, that Minecraft audience aren't PlayStation gamers, aren't Xbox gamers. This is very generalizing, I'm aware of this. But that Minecraft audience, generally, was a younger audience that were just Minecraft gamers. So allowing them to play together was a hit and run for that. Having that as a case study is strong, but doesn't necessarily apply to your mid-30s gamers that are playing on there. I'm an Xbox guy, I'm a PlayStation guy, or whatever. It doesn't necessarily apply the same. That said, people being able to play together across all platforms and stuff is just a better user experience, which unlocks the potential for more spending anyway, has been proven heavily over the last 10 years. So it's something that they should be doing and are doing and will continue to be developing even further. But seeing them doing it with this cross-platform user interface style across all of their games, having the ability to set up lobbies, jump in with other players and have comms across PlayStation onto the Switch and the Xbox and PC all at the same time. 4 players in one party could be playing on 4 different systems and all using the same comm stuff, not using an external app like a Discord, all delivered by Xbox, is actually pretty amazing. And that, as good as PlayStation is in terms of delivering a solid option for gamers, that is better than anything that PlayStation has. To get a good party chat system running across multi-platform games on PlayStation, you have to use external apps. I can sit here on my PC stream setup and Discord chat with people on a different platform easily. I can jump in and Xbox party chat with those people that are on a different platform easily. I can't sit and chat with people on PlayStation. I can't do PlayStation console chat or any of that because it's a bit shit. So Xbox, in that sense, their software and their understanding of the wider market, not just your core gamer that turns it on and plugs his microphone straight into his console and his headset straight into his console, Xbox is far and away ahead of that, 100%. I'm mid-40 and play Minecraft with the kids across them all, different demographic. I know, yeah, exactly. No, exactly. But that's the thing.
Well, there is going to be a different generation of parent nowadays, though, isn't there? So, like, I know my granddad might be an anomaly, but he grew up playing video games. Therefore, I ended up playing video games growing up. But like, we've grown up playing video games, so like, we're going to be playing with our kids as well. And then there isn't a generation gap now where there wasn't parents playing with the kids. Like, we are now that parent playing with our kids. So the best ways to cover all bases, rather than it just being targeted at a specific demographic now, it's much better to try and target the wider one because they kind of still need to target us, right? Like, we're not going to be playing Roblox. That is never going to be something that I will end up picking up unless Joseph says, Dad, later on in, like, I don't know, a couple of years' time, he goes, Dad, you want to play Roblox with me? I'll be like, yeah, absolutely. So no problems. I'll end up downloading it on whatever it is that I'm going to be playing with. But that's the time that they need to then start targeting me. They're not going to start targeting me now. So you at 40 now playing Minecraft with your kids, like 20 years ago, that might like your dad might not have even come into the consideration of wanting to be able to try and play games with you. But now it's a completely different situation what we're in.
Yeah, the other thing as well, I did see like the fledgling start of like research on this is people that were playing with their dads in the last generation, like us, effectively, were playing. Oh, we'll fire up Streets of Rage, and then we'll go to Road Rash, and then we'll do some F-Zero on the SNES or whatever. You played games, whereas it's a slightly different thing now in terms of kids play their game. Dad, can you get me a computer to play Minecraft? It's not, can I get a SNES to play all these games? It's, I want to play Minecraft. Get me something for that. It's almost flipped. Whereas before, you'd be like, oh, I want a Mega Drive so I can play all these, or I'd want a SNES so I can play all these. Now it's, I want to play this, get me a system to play it on. It's the other way around kind of thing, which like, that's the other thing that as a industry analyst, you've got to look at in that sense is like, is it even worth Microsoft having their own system? Because people want the games. Xbox clearly have been seeing that because they went, why are we bothering planning out the next 15 years of Xbox consoles when we can just buy up Bethesda and all of their games for $9 million? We'll buy up Activision and all of their games across different platforms, PC, console, and mobile. And then when people just go, I want a new Warcraft game, or I want a new Hearthstone game, or I want a new whatever, we own that and we can just give them that everywhere. So in that sense, people don't, it's almost like, to explain it to me again, but in football terms. It's like people used to support Man United. Now people go, actually, I just want to support Garnacho wherever he goes. And if he's at United now, then I'm a United fan now. But if he moves to PSG, then I'll be a PSG fan. It's that sort of like evolution.
Esports type of sport. It's really bizarre, isn't it?
So that's the other thing is owning the games, not the console, is more time allowing. Like games that you'd play on your Sega are still there, but you're not playing it on a Sega console. And yeah, Xbox would be quite smart to double up on that. So if they do drop out of the race, or the need for consoles or everything have gone, the content will still be king. So quite a good move, potentially. What about the games though? Hi Rican, how you doing, mate? What about the games though? Will they regulate games so all equipment are on an even playing field? Is that possible? I mean, they are kind of doing that right now. The differences between a Series S and a Series X are significant. So you rewind 4 or 5 years, me and Bibi, even though we are PlayStation gamers, we're saying we recommend you get a Series S. If you're never you've never played games properly and you want in and you don't have a back catalogue, get a Series S. It's 200 quid, 250 quid. You get access to Game Pass, which is thousands of games. It costs you a few quid, exclamation mark Game Pass, if you want in the chat. It's gone up in price now, so that's probably outdated. But the point was, it was cheap and cheerful can get you in. However, fast forward 4 years, and now the Series S is strangling that generation in terms of they're trying to get games to work on the Series S that would fly past where it is and look glorious, perform gloriously on the Series X, but trying to keep that in is hamstringing it. So they do have experience of doing that anyway, so I think that will be something that just comes out by default anyway. I mean, it has been happening forever. That's why you get things like specs, necessary requirements for playing certain games. And I think that will be that then. If you want to play this on PlayStation, you will need the PS5 Pro. If you want to play this on Xbox, you will need Series X. If you want to play this on Switch, lol, good luck. If you want to play this on PC, like it might be one of those where it's almost like a checklist of, yeah, this game is across these 3, but not that one. Or this one's across all 4 of them because it's not that intensive. This one's mega intensive, so it's only on the top 2 kind of thing or whatever. So Yeah. Exclamation mark Game Pass. Did you know that if you're an Xbox, you can get Game Pass for a low monthly fee of only $12.99? You can get access to hundreds of games, including day one releases, and even EA, Ubisoft, and Activision Blizzard games. Plus, you can even get the first 3 months £1, which is not true anymore, that bit. It's probably even more
I
expensive
think the
than
price might be a little bit more expensive as well.
So, exclamation mark Shite Pass, says JMK. Sorry, JMK, did you say something? Was busy playing COD Black Ops 6 for free. Okay, that's enough of that. We'll put pins in the Xbox conversation. It's an interesting one. Obviously, we'll keep and continue forever to stick the boot into Xbox. The reason we do that is because most of our viewers are Xbox fans, and it gets people going. It's provocative. But I own 2 Xboxes, and Bibby owns at least one as well. So, yeah, we're Xbox fans. Okay, I've actually got an Xbox on the floor down here because I've got a Fire Stick, so I don't actually need my Series 1S to be my Twitch device on my TV downstairs now. So my Xbox has been relegated from the living room after 8 years. So, yeah, 2 Xboxes in this house, neither of them plugged in. Unlucky. But yeah, we do like Xbox. Anyway, moving ahead, we'll start to pick up the pace now so we can wrap things up. The next story for you guys is... It's actually quite nice for us to be able to talk about this because we don't talk about work too often, but we do work on Silent Hill 2. So this is a nice little article for us to cover. Well, actually, let me just have a quick look at something on the phone. There we go. Nice. Shout out to Jack Goodwin. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Appreciated, mate. I'm at... Oh, no. For free? They released it for free, did they? Or did they put it on Game Pass, which you had to pay to buy? I'm actually quite enjoying UFL. Sorry to go off on a tangent. Nice. Fans, eh? Yeah, that's what you... If it's a bit warm, turn it on, mate. Next up is Vikki Blake over at Eurogamer, and it says, finally an award show gives Silent Hill 2 Remake and other horror games the love they deserve. So Silent Hill 2 Remake, mouth-washing, fun times, and still wakes the deep clean up at the Horror Game Awards. So Silent Hill 2 Remake may have been robbed of the awards it was nominated for at the Game Awards, but it took home the top Game of the Year prize at the 2024 Horror Game Awards last night. Konami's horror game also won Best Survival Horror, Best Soundtrack, and awarded James Sunderland's mocap and voice actor Luke Roberts Best Performance in the 3rd annual Horror Game Showcase, but it did lose out in several other categories it was nominated for, given the glut of brilliant horror games we've seen this year. Best Indie Developer went to Chiller's Art, Best Multiplayer went to the brilliant Lethal Company, and the Chinese Room Still Wake the Deep took home Best Indie Horror, as well as Best Technical Achievement. Phenomenal game, that, by the way. Love that. So, Pyramid Head designer Masahiro Ito also secured an individual Lifetime Achievement Award. Here's the full list of nominations and winners. I'm just going to do title and winner. So, Best Performance goes to Luke Robert or James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2. Most accessible horror game, Slay the Princess, The Pristine Cut, Black Tabby Games. Best narrative, Mouth-washing, Wrong Organ, which sounds interesting when you put those two together. Mouth-washing the Wrong Organ. God damn. Best soundtrack, Silent Hill from Bloober Team SA. Player's Choice, Mouth-washing, Wrong Organ, again. Best Survival Horror, Silent Hill Bloober Team. Best Indie Developer, Chiller's Arts. Best Indie Horror Game, Still Wakes the Deep, The Chinese Room. Best Multiplayer Horror Game, Lethal Company, Zekas. Best VR Horror, Resident Evil 4 VR, Capcom and Armature Studio. Best Developer, Capcom. Horror Creator of the Year, Markiplier. Technical Achievement, Still Wakes the Deep from the Chinese Room. Lifetime Achievement Award to Masahiro Ito. Most Anticipated Horror Game, Alien Isolation sequel from Creative Assembly. And Horror Game of the Year, Silent Hill 2 from Bloober Team. We can stop there. We don't need to go into any of the other bits. You kind of get the point. If you didn't know this was a thing, the Horror Game Awards took place, I think it was 6 days ago now, because the article was published, 5 days ago, and this was the day before. So yeah, there we go. So a few days ago now, the Horror Game Awards took place. And I'm actually genuinely a big fan of this, because you often see things like the Game Awards, it often... There's like a landswell of support for one or two games that clean up across the categories. And I think that's partially because a little bit of the populace effect, but partially because the Game Awards categories are also a bit shit. Like they could do a little bit more work in separating things out there. But Silent Hill 2 was nominated for like 5 or 6 categories and didn't win anything at the Game Awards because it lost to a very similar game in Astrobot. Yeah, I know. Yeah, perfectly similar game. No, that's the thing though. Like the Game Awards, it's very easy for a mainstream breakout success game like Astrobot to clean up, or Final Fantasy VII to clean up, and it's just like that does a very good job of not showing all of the strength of all of the other games. You often get a AAA clean up, and then you get an indie cleans everything else up, like a Balatro sort of thing this year, the card game that's cleaned up, which means that massive library of games in the middle doesn't get the honor that it deserves. Like, for me, forget Silent Hill 2 for now, Still Wakes the Deep is possibly my game of the year, just because of how much fun I had playing that. It's a completely different game to what I'd usually stream. Enjoyed it all the way through.
Proud of you for doing that.
Yeah, thanks mate. And loved it. So it's still probably my game of the year. But until this, I don't think I'd seen it win a single award, which just goes to show just how good the game was, but was not recognised anywhere near as much as it should be. So, yeah, nice to see specific awards break out and go, do you know what, Jeff Keighley and all his #ad, #spawn shill fest can go away. We will just honour horror as a genre, because like looking through that list, Still Wakes the Deep, Silent Hill 2, Until Dawn. I've never even heard of.
You never heard of Until Dawn?
No. I've never heard of Bookshot Roulette. Is what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
I own Until Dawn. Phasmophobia, Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, even just in that, I think it was 5 games I'd mentioned, and I'd only scrolled a couple of bits down. That's a bunch of games that I'd not seen win anything else, and every one of them is massive. But yeah, that's the problem with award ceremonies, I suppose. So yeah, good to see other games get a shout out. Thoughts? Yeah.
I genuinely feel like the horror category is one that gets glossed over the most, but I genuinely think that is the gaming genre that could make the most impact, because they're usually the stories that get told. I mean, I'm definitely speaking from bias here, because survival horror games are my favorite genre of games. But they're the ones that the storyline has to be good for it to be engaging. If it's just shit storyline, I mean, you could theoretically put that across any kind of storyline game, but a horror one literally lives and dies by it. Like an action game, it could be a terrible story, but the action sequences get you through it. Whereas a horror game, the story has to have something going on for you to... Is it a whodunit? Is it literally just a slasher and gore film? Is it like... All of these different things make what the horror genre is. It's usually the easiest thing to be able to write for, because it's like, do you have what's the villain type? Is it a vampire? Is it someone who's a serial killer or whatever? And then you can build the story around that particular character. So if it's shit, then it's not going to do that well, but it can be so easily done bad. Don't know if that's real English, but yeah, I don't think it gets the love that it deserves at awards ceremony, despite some of the greatest games of all time being either a survival game or a survival horror game.
It's difficult at award ceremonies. I understand. Like, it's hard to classify what is ultimately people's subjective experiences, but I do think award ceremonies don't help. So I actually don't think horror is the most hard done to category. I still think sports or shooters are even more hard done to, because the amount of churn that they do in terms of financial impact and social impact. Like, we were talking about games like the FIFAs and pro clubs and stuff being actual social breakouts for people. Wow, we don't go to the pub anymore. We jump on and play FIFA or FC, EAFC on a Friday night now. We do that for a few hours instead. Massive. Or Call of Duty doing the same thing. But a lot of the times, journalists and those markets will often go, sports games, whatever. It's just another sports game or just another shooter kind of thing. Unless something miraculous happens, like a PUBG breaks the way that we play video games, and then leads to Fortnite, which breaks the way that we play video games even further. But then next year they go, oh, it's just more Fortnite. And it's like, no, it's still a miraculous thing. Like, it just becomes like, yeah, but it's not a Baldur's Gate 3 or some long RPG sort of story kind of thing. And yeah, horror does have the same sort of thing. Sports shooters horror games are, it's just, you're kicking a ball, yeah, go sports team. Oh, you're just shooting people, yeah, go shooting team. Oh, you're scaring someone, yeah, it's got a scary team. It's that sort of approach to it when it comes to award ceremony. So it's good to see that some of these games did get the love that they deserve from somewhere in the industry. So let's go, boys. One thing I dislike with the TGA, they put awards on pre-show. All awards should be on the main show. Yeah, dog shit. Like, and you could tell when it changed from pre-show to main show because they got Sydney Goodman to do pre-show, but when it comes main show, Jeff Keighley steps out to give out the awards because he doesn't do the pre-show. Fuck off, mate. Lechy, how you doing, mate? Welcome in. Sorry, the bot is dead, so we can't do the linky stuff. The only way I could sort that is to restart the PC, and ain't nobody got time for that. I'm surprised the Alien Isolation 2 game got a most anticipated game award since it was just announced and not released, so it could still be dropped if the studio gets bought out or hits financial problems. Yeah, but it's anticipated, David. It's been announced. That's the point of anticipation. You can't be most anticipated if it's been released. I'm surprised that people are excited for a game, therefore anticipate it before it's available, because if not, it wouldn't be most anticipated, it'd be most played. That's how it works. Thanks, Legend. Merry Xmas, brother. Let's go, baby. Merry Christmas, Lecce. What the fuck? Crabber gifting to Lecce. Appreciate you, mate. Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know Lecce, do go say hi to him. Lecce, what are you doing in the morning? Well, afternoon, evening time for you. Because we've not got games in since last month, and we said we should try to do it once a month. So I'll be on tomorrow for some games if you're about and you fancy jumping in with us again. If not, it's Christmas. I get it. It's 21st of December, nearly 22nd or whatever it is for you. So you'll be busy as fuck, kind of thing. So I get it. But yeah, if you're about, just holler. Not now. Tomorrow, Saturday, mate. Because I suppose it is the 21st for you now. Oh, no, it's not. It's almost the 21st. Thanks, Legend. Oh, we've done that bit. Also, I don't understand how Undisputed wasn't up for any awards. Even if it didn't win, why wasn't it nominated when Best Sports Racing Game barely had any noms? Didn't Undisputed get a nomination somewhere? I genuinely don't think it should have won anything, though. I feel like some people really liked it, but most people just thought, this is a good start. So I hope
I'm in that camp.
What, that is a good start?
Yeah, it's a good start. It has
also pun intended, I imagine, there with the use of the word camp. If not, then I'm in that camp. 6-month camp. Yeah, let's go, baby. Sorry, anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's got solid foundations. I don't think it's anything to scream about at this moment in time. I feel like it's definitely got a good foundation. I think it's got a decent enough career mode, albeit I'm not all the way through it. I'm nowhere near all the way through it. But there's just a little... It feels horrible saying this because obviously we have friends that work over there, but at the moment it feels a little bit lifeless. I feel like it doesn't have that magic that you'd expect or that you've come to expect from boxing games at this moment in time. Like I still think Fight Night Round 3, Fight Night Round 4, and Fight Night Champion are probably three of the best boxing games you're ever going to come up against. And I don't think it gets anywhere close to those. And I'm giving them a free hit because it is their first attempt at it, and they've got so many different platforms to be able to hit to get there. I'm giving them all the time in the world to be able to do it. It's a very good game, but it does feel like it's still in early access. That's what it feels like. It doesn't have that. You're in the boxing gym and you hear nothing. Like, I don't expect to hear commentators, but I expect to hear whistling. I expect to hear people jeering and cheering around the ring, and you don't hear any of that. So unless they put some more fixes in over like the last 3-4 weeks, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it has that. I want to get into that gritty boxing gym and start having fights and scraps and stuff like that. It just isn't there yet. And I am fighting in its corner, and I hope that we get to see have a variation or something that builds on top of this. But I don't think it's anywhere close to winning any kind of prestigious award at this moment in time anyway.
Yeah, after watching it, I've played very little of it, to be fair, and I mean minutes, and that was not even the full release. It was the earlier like beta sort of stuff, and it did feel like, oh, this could be good. It feels like it needs a bit of polishing up before release, and then seeing people play it and hearing the feedback, maybe it needs a bit of polishing up with iteration. I just hope Steel City have the ability to deliver that. I don't know if it is still called Steel City. The developer is called, or was called Steel City. I remember that because it's a Sheffield-based developer, which is the Steel City. It makes sense. But it used to be called Esports Boxing Club or something like that, is what the game was going to be called. And then they realised that esports instantly points you in one market. Sounds a bit gash, so let's call it Undisputed. So it went through like brand placement for a long time. People thought it looked too good to be true and wouldn't actually be a thing. Turned out it was a thing, and they did a good job with it. So I hope they can just go away and do more with it, because yeah, we need some boxing games. They've done a decent enough job in kind of satisfying both worlds as well by bringing out a boxing game with core boxing names in there, but then bridging the gap by bringing out the Problem Child DLC, which brings you a bunch of other boxers plus the likes of Jake Paul. So if you want to see Jake Paul get his face smashed in, you can do it yourself now within Undisputed. So I feel like they've done it the right way. They've clearly understand boxing. They want to do the sport well, and they have done. I just hope that they've done enough for themselves to bring us a sequel, which will then be bigger and better with more behind it. So yeah, big fan. Let's keep it going. It's a good base, but needs more work. Definitely needs more features. Korea's too menu, yeah. But usually when things are anticipated in other media, it's usually it's gone. As soon as you call David out for something, it just goes into paragraph mode. Everyone grab yourself a brew. I'm going to read this paragraph from David. Yes, but usually when things are anticipated in other media, it's usually released and not just announced. Granted, that tends to cover up a bad reception in the market, like most anticipated film Borderlands. What? I mean, I don't know about other media. I work in video games, where the most anticipated has always been what you're excited about for next year. So, like, most anticipated is often GTA 6 or whatever. So, yeah. Like, the fact that the Horror Game Awards has a most anticipated, we actually have an anticipated award that isn't being given to GTA 6 is the point, though, is that shows beauty in that. The fact that someone else gets a chance to be shown in there. Because there's a whole year of games being released, and everyone's anticipating GTA 6, which, like, Alien Isolation deserves a shout. So I'm glad it's getting one. FC 25 is obviously the best sports game. Obviously. Factually, mate. I mean, it is one of those, though, where, like that shows you how shite the attitude is towards sports games. Because FC 25, I mean, a lot of people like it. Most people like it for the social stuff, but a lot of people like it for what it is. But as someone that's played football games all his life, it's not the best football game I've ever played by a long, long way. It's got a lot of great content, so it's a good content game, but in terms of a football simulation, it's shite. My personal opinion. I've got fucking Puskas in the Ultimate Team side of things, but the gameplay is that bad that I've stopped playing that, and I'm not bothered about clubs either. But this is where award shows fail, because that's won the game of the year, and EA Sports College Football 25 didn't even get into the final category, let alone win, and that is the all-time best-selling sports game in North America ever. So it's outsold not just your NBAs and so on like that, only in America. Bear in mind, obviously FIFA will have no doubt sold more globally, but in America, which is a large population and is the one that game is aimed at, it has sold more than any other game has ever, but didn't even make it into the top 6. Madness. It shows you just how little input goes into it there. Need a career mode for DayZ? Yes, please. They recently added the ability to go up or down a weight, but that's all so far. Normally I would jump at Games Ice Cream, but we're having a Christmas Day this year, but let's aim for port. Absolutely, I get it.
You hate us and don't want to play with us and think ice cream shit. Thanks, mate. Nice one.
Nah, you enjoy your Christmas, mate. It's all good. I heard in Disputed when you play as Jake Paul, you can only play versus retired fighters. Who wrote that for Tito? There's no way he came up with that one. He must have seen that on a tweet somewhere. Okay, there you go. Nice. If Steel City drop a pack with KSI, that'll be a huge move. I mean, it's a lot of expenditure, though. So that's the other thing, is if you've already spent a chunk on Jake Paul, did they make the money back? If they did, you guarantee they'll already be sat in there with KSI's management going, we'll have one of those. If there was a game for kangaroo races, we would hands down outsell FIFA and NBA combined. 100%. 100%. Guaranteed. I don't know what to say that, so we'll move on. Next story. And our final story before we start to wrap things up for you guys with some Free Game Friday stuff is Johnny Silverhand will be a part of Fortnite Cyberpunk crossover, according to a leak. So the summary of the article is Fortnite's rumoured Cyberpunk 27. Do you know, I'm actually just going to go off the summary. I love the fact that the game gives you a summary at the top, so you don't need to read all the way through it. We can just read this bit. Fortnite's rumoured Cyberpunk 2077 crossover is still coming despite no showing this week's update. A new leak claims it will be here via an update dropping on December the 23rd, so 3 days' time, 2024. It will include 4 store tabs and a Johnny Silverhand skin, among other things. Okay. Thank you for that summary. That's perfect for like an end of scoop sort of summary. We can just quickly go over the facts and jump into the article. Johnny Silverhand.
Where was it that we used to that used to be like an audio version of it? At
we
the
could
top?
just bugger off for it.
Let somebody else read it.
It was a non-games thing, like Forbes or something like that. We did a couple of Forbes articles, and you could play the audio version of it, which was AI reading through it for you. Okay, we're gonna go through this next story. See you in a bit, mate. But yes, Mr. Bib, Christmas is coming up, which is big Fortnite time. Probably the most Fortnite-iest time of the year. It's the most Fortnite-iest time
Of the year.
On the beach. Is that fucking adverts ruined it for me?
Oh, yeah. Bin. But could Johnny Silverhand save it for you? Would you be interested in getting some Cyberpunk crossover thoughts?
Do you know what? No, but that's because I haven't got anywhere close to finishing Cyberpunk. However, that might change this Christmas because I've got like a little hankering to jump into it. Because I did start it, I'm probably like 3 or 4 hours into it, which obviously isn't a lot. But I genuinely think that might be my Christmas game this year. Again, Fortnite is going to be included in that as well because I've already started. I think I've cleared down all week one's tasks now in Fortnite OG. I think the season lasts until the end of January.
It sounds like
so we've
Bibby's
got a
dying.
long time.
Are you dying there? Bib? Is that some sort of heart attack seizure going on? Are you okay?
I think so. We'll find out in a minute. Give me 5 minutes. But yeah, I think the season actually lasts at the end of January. So yeah, I'm going to be playing that all the way throughout. Just probably jumping in, doing my dailies, ticking off some stuff as and when it comes through. Play a little bit of Fortnite racing because I actually really like. Shock, Bibby likes kart racers.
No.
If I had the Riftmaster PDB controller, I'd probably get into the Fortnite Festival. Well, there's no fucking way I'm playing Fortnite Festival with a controller. That sucks ass. I ain't doing that. But yeah, Fortnite is amazing. Regardless of what anyone says, Fortnite is amazing. I tried that Brick City stuff. I don't know what that is all about. I feel like they've just looked at what they're doing at GTA RP and gone, we can do that, but then not have any of the GTA RP stuff in there. So it's a little bit soulless. There's nothing really going on in there. But Fortnite OG, I'm well back into it. Absolutely adore the game. We'll definitely be persisting a lot with it. The Cyberpunk stuff never really is going to land with me, but that's because I've not finished it yet. I've not... it is what it is, but great that they're still obviously making stuff for Fortnite. The Funko Pops video game is not really, because Funko Fusion is actually a real thing, but... yeah, the Funko Pops of video games is just getting more and more stuff to go into it. The Skibidi Toilet thing, I don't even know what it is, but I'm seeing it everywhere. Is that me? Is that an age thing?
Yes.
Do you know what it is?
Ish. I know Skibidi is one of those sort of like weird fucking Gen Z words. Skibidi Toilet, Skibidi Risen, and I don't know what the thing is in Fortnite. I've seen like... I saw an article that had a toilet with a face in it, and I was like, I don't want to know. I'm not bothered. Like, that brain rot can keep away from me. Nope. So yeah, if you're watching this and you understand what Skibidi Toilet is, like in the top right corner of the screen, if you're watching on a desktop, is the exit button. Just go, get out of here, go. I'm not joking. You don't have to stay. Yeah, I'd be more likely to use Johnny Silverhand than Skibidi Toilet as my skin, though. I think that's safe for me to say.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I do want to play Ballistic over Christmas, so we need to get a team together for that.
That's the Counter Strikey sort of search and destroy
that's gonna be
game
sick.
mode.
That's really, really good. I've been watching Timmy Tenders play quite a bit of that with Ninja and that. And we talk about Shroud being the absolute GOAT when it comes to FPS, but Ninja's so fucking good, man. Like, when he's locked in, that man is unbelievable at video games.
Because he was so successful, people forget how good he was and why he became successful. Like, Ninja was a multi-game. There's a phrase that you put towards it, but multi-game esports star. It's not this shit. So he basically competed in. Granted, some of them were creator tournaments, some of them were esports sort of tournaments, but he competed in esports for like H1Z1s, the DayZs, the PUBGs, and all sorts of stuff, let alone Fortnite. He's done pro-am stuff as well as like mainstream stuff. So he got famous because of how good he was. I remember watching early days Fortnite when people were still figuring it out and were panicking, trying to get out of the blue and trying to win the game at any costs. And Ninja just understood the game and was killing people by not killing people. I remember him building people out of the zone and into the blue as they're coming in, just like building walls and shit around them and trapping them. And he could have killed them at any point, absolutely playing with his dinner sort of stuff. But yeah, it was one of those where like, people will dick around now, but he was one of the first sort of people that you'd see using like what are those mines that you throw down that send people like projectory sort of mines? Like throw one of those down and then send people into a wall that he's put one of those like ceiling traps on it. So he was the first person that you'd see yeeting people into fucking traps and then getting them squashed and like fucking So seeing him,
it is honestly, Go on, carry on. Sorry,
I'm gonna say seeing him playing something like Ballistic doesn't surprise me that he's good at it.
Yeah, because I've been having him on, him and Timmy, so they've just fluctuating between that Marvel Rivals and going back into Fortnite, OG and stuff like that, and he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. Like, I don't think I've sang his praises enough about how good he is. Like you say, because he is so mainstream. He's not someone who I would immediately go back and watch, but if he's playing games that I actively like and I want to see high level, I go watch him, man, because he's so good. He's so entertaining as well.
Yeah.
Like, I know that he's kind of deviated away from targeting younger audiences. I feel like since that New Year's Eve thing where we tried to get people to do the floss at
and nobody did it, and he's just
I feel like he's just gone, do you know what? I don't fucking need any of this. I don't need Red Bull sending me to these events to make a twat of myself. I'm just going to do what I need to do. And I do. I've got a lot of respect for him. And I'm all about the gameplay and entertainment. I'm getting both with him. So if you see him streaming it over Christmas or anything like that, just give him 10-15 minutes and I'm fairly certain you're going to be entertained at some point throughout that.
No. Fuck that guy.
But that's enough shout outs for other people's channels on this channel.
I actually feel a bit sorry for him because there was it's the same thing with anything. People want to see the underdogs become successful and then people want to tear it down. Seeing him going from this stupid kid that act like a knobhead, screaming at people, doing stupid impressions in fucking DayZs and whatever, to then being the biggest gamer in the world, to then being ripped down systematically by the likes of the Lady Gagas of the world, like, I'm sorry, who are you, sort of stuff, because he was just a gamer, and then seeing other people pitch on it because he was so successful. He's not one of us anymore, let's pull him down. So he got pulled down by celebrities in his own. It was a bit shit to see that, and I don't, unless someone knows something in particular that he did, I don't think any of it was justified. It was just we'll read this and we'll turn it into progressive narratives about him being a shit state. I don't know. I didn't see it, but there you go. Anyway, that's enough of that. What we can do now, though, is jump over to some Free Game Friday shit. Let's go, baby. You want some free games? Let's do it. Before we do, Skibidi Toilet is something my grandkids are into, so you two are aware to 100%. The main reason I'm aware of it was back in August, we were at Gamescom, and Lee, one of the guys at Jelly Media, his daughter, who's even younger than my daughter, was talking about all of these American words that are just started to be adopted into playground culture in the UK. Skibbity, Riz, Sigma, and all sorts of other shit. So I've been aware of it for many months. Not asked. Don't want to know. It's not for me. You can keep that shit. Like, we had our own weird shits as kids. You can keep that shit too. It's fine.
Embarrassingly, yesterday, Flynn was like, "Oh, Skibbity Toilet's coming into Fortnite tonight." And I'm like, "Is he a rapper or like just like a proper old man thing?" I genuinely had no idea who it was.
Yeah,
Still don't.
He is actually a freestyle musician. He's pretty good. He's like the next Drake. Anyway, next story. This is Drake. Even are we allowed to like Drake? Because it seems like every rapper gets thrown down the Skibbity toilet at the moment. God damn. So we'll. I don't know if he is. If he's bad, then I didn't mean it. I meant someone else. If he's good, then okay, I definitely meant that. But for now, we'll talk about Morgan Pack and the rest of the team at PC Gamer bringing us not just our free game of the week, but our free game of the day from Epic Games. Then.
Friday.
Every day. Okay, so now that we're in the holiday end game, Epic is once again giving out daily freebies. So keep an eye on this page. We can drop the link in the chat for new free choices every day during the winter sale. You can keep track of what's been free so far below. So if you are watching this live, you've got about an hour left to claim Vampire Survivors, which is free on the Epic Game Store. December 19th, Vampire Survivors is the free game. Remember, that does update every day, obviously. 20th, yep, every single day, up until the 9th of January. So it's up until the 1st of January. It looks like the 2nd to the 9th is another mystery game. So that will be a big sign-off game, I imagine, for a week.
Probably.
But you've got a bunch of games coming for free every single day. So if you've got an Epic Games account, make sure you check in. Usually you will get some, and I don't mean to say this is a negative way. I definitely mean it as just a realistic sort of way. You will get some games that you've heard of, like Vampire Survivors. There will be other games that you might not have heard of, and there might be some, air quotes, cheaper games in there. But you will also get a couple of bangers scattered around as well, I imagine. I could be wrong, but the way that's happened previously, you will often get, like, it's almost like doing a mixtape. Like, you'll start off with a good track. The logic for creating a mixtape is you start off with a good track, get people in. Then your second, you hit them with a banger. So people are like, this mix track is fucking mixtape's fucking full of bangers. But then you drop down a bit for tracks 3 and 4. And as you're starting to lose their attention again, you hit them with another banger at 5. So people go, fuck yeah, we're back in the room, baby. And I imagine we'll get some of that sort of stuff. So Vampire Survivors might not be the banger. It's only $3.99, but you'll have heard of it. So I imagine maybe it might not go 1, 2, and then off for a couple and back up again. But we might get a couple of days of, oh, we'll see, that's nice, it's free. But I imagine, particularly on 25th of December, we might get something a bit spicy dropping in there because it's Christmas Day and they want to be able to say it. So yeah, make sure you check it out. Nice. But that's it. That's it from us. Quick recap then. The games industry will only have room for the PlayStation and the Switch because the Xbox is garbage. Next story, Xbox is garbage, so it's trying to put its stuff onto other platforms. That's not really true. If you watched it, it makes sense. If you didn't watch it, I'm not going to explain it for you. That's the way it goes. The Horror Game Awards gave some awards to games that deserved them, which was nice to see. Shout out to Still Wakes the Dead, Mouthwashing, but just because it's fun to say, and Silent Hill 2 Remake as well. Johnny Silverhand will be coming to Fortnite according to leaks. So the 23rd, which I think is that Monday? It is Monday. So Monday, yes. Fortnite update could bring in some new content just before Christmas. And Epic Games are giving out free games, including Vampire Survivors, right now. That'll update in an hour's time, so make sure you check that when it does. But we are done. How do I say that name? I think that's Wilksy, right?
It's EK is his clan.
Because I was like, Ekadam? It sounds like, I'm like, is that some sort of Dutch cheese? That's what it looks like to me. Like,
yes, it is. Yeah.
Because I only
lovely on a charcuterie board.
Yeah, exactly. I only know it's Wilksy because he came in on the stream where he won. So, like, and then I realised it says Adam at the end. Like, So
Adam.
yeah, Ekadam. Do you want some? Do you want some Ekadam? Yeah, go on then. Go on then. Yeah, please, mate. Yeah, I'll have a bit of that. Have you got any? You got any chorizo? Chorizo.
Chorizo.
Have you got any of that duchaha? Duchaha. Do you know? Do you know what duchaha means? Have I told you this?
Is it silver skin onions?
Yes, yes. No. So, my stream title on Wednesday. Sorry for anyone that's about to wrap up and doesn't want to listen to some downgrading under quality story. But my stream title on Wednesday was I've learned a new Spanish word. So I was watching Herbs, who is he Latin American? Herbs, but he basically speaks Spanish, as does Dr. Mike, and they were chatting Spanish. Herb streaming, Dr. Mike writing in Spanish in his chat. So I dropped him with, naturally because I'm fluent in 2 Spanish words, Feliz Navidad. So nice. Yeah, that was it. That was me. Oh no, actually I had Prospero Año y Felicidad after that as well. So smashed it, mate. Smashed it. But then
every day's a skill day.
Yeah. But then they started mentioning, like, Herbs was talking to Mike about what he's been up to in his day or whatever, and then he was like, "Oh, I bet you've just had your siesta." And Mike was like, "Nah, I'm not a fan of having a siesta. It's not for me. I'm very much on board with the duchaja though." And I was like, "Oh, what's it like?" Herbs giggled when he said duchaha, and then Mike then in capitals or whatever was like, "Fucking love a duchaha" or whatever, and I was like, "What the fuck is a duchaha?" So then I was like, "I'm gonna Google it." Googled it, and duchaha is having a wank in the shower. Basically, that's what it means. So it's an easy, clean wank. So yeah, a duchaha. So la ducha is what, I don't know if it's la, but ducha is Spanish for shower. So. A duchaja is a Spanish shower wank. So there you go. So maybe don't have that for silver skin pickled onions, babe. It's probably not the best thing. I can't remember.
Couldn't have been further away.
So I
was still thinking charcuterie board.
Someone the other day was in the stream and I went duchaja, and I can't remember what they said. It was something smoking related. It's either I've had some. I think it was like that was a variety of weed or something that I've smoked. I was like, you definitely don't want to be putting that in your mouth. God damn. So yeah, a duchaja is a chowang. Looks like ass, but apparently a lot of fun. What a duchaja? Or do you mean Vampire Survivors? Because a bit of column A, a bit of column B. Nice. Definitely download Vampire Survivors if you haven't. It's quality. I've already got it added to the library. I've not downloaded it, but it's there. Should I need it? I've just seen the words David's put about Drake. I'll leave that alone. We'll come back to that another time. Nah! Well, never. Thank you, everyone, for dropping into the stream. We appreciate you breeing here. Unintended cheese pun. That's it. Once we talk about a charcuterie board, everyone's breeing here. God damn. Yeah, I appreciate you dropping in. Thank you for being here. We are going to wrap things up and possibly pass a little bit of love on to one of our friends, so stick around while we do that. There's a small chance that we could be jumping back on for a little bit of gameplay now. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's also just as likely that we won't, because it is 3:05. By the time we finished up and sorted things out, it's pretty likely that we won't be jumping back on as well. But, small chance. So we'll see. We'll see what the crack is. But yes, make sure you stick around in the raid as we go pass over some love to one of our friends. Remember that we're going to be on tonight with Bibi playing on... what do you know what you're playing on?
No idea yet. I've got to sort Joseph's birthday stuff out yet, so genuinely it's up in the air. I've spoken to everyone. No idea what time or anything, though.
He hasn't spoken to you guys, though, has he? No. He might have spoken to Nietzsche.
I've spoken to the real ones.
He might have spoken
to the real ones.
But you guys that hear and turn up and watch the content, not spoken to you, has he? Honestly.
Spoken to Nietzsche?
God damn. Yeah, he don't count.
A real one.
So yeah, Bibi doesn't like you enough to come back for a stream in a bit or later on probably, but I will in the morning for some PUBG. Nice. So yeah, anyway, do you know what? Follow the channel, you get notifications if you did them on and all that sort of stuff. So we'll be back when we come back. But before we do go away and come back, is there all you would like to add, Mr. Bib?
Yes, thank you very much for joining us for today's episode. Thank you very much for joining us back on the scoop as it is. I think we've probably been live back doing this again once a week for maybe about 3 or 4 months. Hasn't been every single week, but you guys have always turned up as and when we needed you to. Anyway, so we very much appreciate that. That is it. There's going to be no more scoops now for at least 2 weeks. When is the first time that we're going to be back doing it? What's the date?
It'll be the week of the 6th, that Friday. What's that?
So the 10th. January 10th is going to be our next episode of the scoop. So if you remember, we'll probably let you know in our Discord. So there's a good chance that you want to be in there just to get notified as and when we are going to be going live with the next episode. If you want to help shape that show, there is 2 ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. As I have just mentioned, all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be at what time? On the 10th of January, Mr. Graham Day.
Fuck knows. That's next year.
Who even knows?
Probably 10 a.m. or thereabouts. I just had to Google why Ekadam reminds me of Dutch cheese. Edam is what that is, the cheese that comes to mind. So Ekadam, and also ek, I'm pretty sure it is a Dutch word for like the or something of that sort of style. So the cheese. Thank you. That's what you can call Wilkesy now, by the way. The
cheese.
Yeah. It's Mr. Worldwide. Has he spoken to you, Tito? Guessing you not. You're not a real one. Fraud. Banter. Yeah, so that's it. Honestly, appreciate everyone that has tuned in for the scoop. As we always say, we don't do the scoop for content exposure and all of that sort of stuff. We do the scoop because we work in video games. It's nice for us to formalize those thoughts into a verbalized discussion like this. We get to engage with you guys as we do this, but it's never going to be the content that sets the world on fire. We know more people would like to watch me and Baby dick around in the studio or watch us play the games that we usually play. So we do appreciate when you guys do turn up for when we do this, because this is in acting terms, you often get actors go, I'll do the film for the studio, which is your PUBG and your FCs and stuff like that, but I'll also do a film for me. And that's when they go on and do their passion project. That is what the scoop is to us. So we appreciate anyone that does turn up for that, because this is the bit for us. Once again, another year of scoops in the bag, and we appreciate you all for backing it. But now, though, we'd appreciate if you can back us as we back someone else. So we're going to drop a raid on one of our friends for the last time from a scoopy perspective this year. But make sure you got your notifications on here on Twitch, because we will be back either tonight or tomorrow morning with more content before we do wrap things up for the year. So yeah, make sure you get your follows and stuff on, notifications and stuff on, should I say? And then we'll sort that out. But for now, though, we are going to go and raid one of our friendos. Stick around to see who that is.
Nacho.
Oh, is it Nacho? Oh, we'll go say hi to Nacho. Yeah. From us, though, have yourselves a beautiful Christmas, if we don't get a chance to tell you before. We hope you get all of the good things and more. But until next year, stay frosty.